A group of Harvard law students are calling for the faculty to drop their official shield, which they say honors a family who made their fortune through slavery. The seal depicts 3 bundles of wheat. It's an image borrowed from the family crest of Isaac Royal Jr. It's meant to memorialize the wealthy merchant who donated his estate to Harvard College in order for them to start the actual law school. Margaret, now the students at the university, they're lobbying to remove it altogether. They're saying it represents a slave past of things that we simply aren't representing nowadays. I have a quote from Alexander Claiborne. He's one of the students who were involved with getting this whole change getting done. Here's what he said. These symbols set the tone for the rest of the school, and the fact that we hold up the Harvard crest as something to be proud of when it represents something so ugly is a profound disappointment and should be a source of shame for the whole school. Wow. Now, I don't know if they're being very sensitive and maybe taking the whole politically correct thing way too far, or if they really do have a point here. I think they want their school to kind of follow in the footsteps of the University of Cape Town, which recently got rid of their can we go full screen on this? I want you guys to see that is the statue of Cecil Rhodes. He's oftentimes seen as a symbolism in South Africa for British imperialism. On top of that, he was an extremely racist guy, but nonetheless an important figure in history. So when does it become, you know, getting things out because you think they're wrong and erasing histories is what I want to say. What do you think, Margaret? Are they being too sensitive? Because at the end of the day, it is just bundles of wheat.
No, they're not being too sensitive at all. Isaac Royal was a racist who burned a slave at the stake, and understanding his past and who he was, having a symbol of his family would be an element of institutionalized racism. Unfortunately, though, they're so pervasive in American culture, and you know, everything from high school mascots that are raiders, and you realize they're Confederate raiders, to innocuous symbols like this, correct, and they really represent this is just one more example of institutionalized racism, and they should remove it. Yeah, and you know that legacy really does carry on. I mean, we mentioned earlier, I mean, you and I were talking about McGraw-Hill, the textbooks in Texas. I mean, I mentioned erasing history. I mean, they're doing that very thing. They're whitewashing slavery, and they refer to them as like paid migrants. They're scared scared to use the word slavery in textbooks. I mean, giving people the completely wrong idea. I mean, like you said, remnants of our racist past pop up all the time, and you know, it's a big discussion now whether or not, you know, names like the Redskins are okay, whether it's right or not to tote the Confederate flag, you know, things that we're all talking about now. So I think it's important nonetheless that we at least get these things out there and we really talk about them, because there is that fine line between, you know, getting rid of history and getting out what shouldn't be there. And I agree with you. Normally, wheat bundles, no, there's nothing racist about wheat, but we're talking about a man who inherited an entire plantation and slaves and reportedly burned a man at the stake who was a slave. So if we're talking about him and his family, and we're talking about wheat bundles in association with that, then yes, extremely, extremely racist. So many things that have links to racism in this country, and I think it's going to take us maybe hundreds of years to get rid of all of them, but I think this is a good step in the right direction.